Hello and welcome to video number 9 of our PHP developing tutorials. In this video we're going to cover functions. We're going to start this video by deleting what we have so far. We're going to create a function. To do that we just start with the word function and we name the function. We can call it whatever we want. We'll call it, let's call this function hello world. Let's do it in lowercase hello world, such as that. And then we do parentheses and we have a code block here, and basically what this is going to do is it allows us to put our code in maintainable function calls. In procedural PHP you can put these pretty much anywhere. Later on in object-oriented PHP we'll look at how to specify private functions and public functions of a class, but for this we'll just name it function and we're going to echo hello world from a function. Okay, so that's how you create a function. To actually use a function, all we have to do is execute the name hello world, just like that. Now if we save that and look at our page, we see that the hello world is echoed, and it's echoing it by using this function here. We can also give it a variable. This is a parameter. We're going to give the function a parameter, and we're just going to call that parameter string. We're going to echo the string. So now when you make the function call, you have to provide it with a string. So we're going to say hello from a parameter, just like that. Now save that and we look at it. Now it says hello from a parameter. So we're calling this function, we're passing it a string, and it's echoing that string for us. We could also do something like, let's clear this out. We could create a function called add, give it two parameters. We could say A and B, and then we're going to echo A plus B. And then to call that function we'll say add, let's just say 4 and 5, like that. Now we refresh the page and we get it returns 9, or it echoes 9, which is 4 plus 5. We could also return, well, we'll do the return in just a minute. We could have a default for these values as well. So we say this one's default is let's say 1, and the B's default is 2. So our 4 and 5 here is overriding those defaults, so we're still going to get 9. But if we just call that function without any parameters, now we'll get 3, which is the default 1 plus the default B of 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3, and we're just calling that function directly. These defaults come in handy later. You probably never set up a function like this, but this just shows you how they work. You can also return values from a function. Let's return A plus B. So now if we add like that, save it, refresh it, we get an error. The error we're getting is from this B not having a dollar sign in front of it. So let's save that and refresh it. We're not getting anything. That's what we should see, is no page at all. And the reason we're not seeing anything is because we're not doing anything with this. It's adding the values and it's returning that, but it's not echoing it. So let's echo add. So now we get 3. And let's say we add 56 and 60, echo that, and we get 116. So we have a nifty little calculator. We could also create a function real quick for subtract, and we'll give it an A. We'll just default it to 5, and we'll give it a B with a default of 2, and we're going to return A minus B. So now we could also, let's see, echo. Let's go ahead and echo here. Well, let's create some variables. Let's create a variable up here of A. Now, I think this is, hang on, this right here is not tabbed correctly. Let's fix that. So let's create our variable A, and I have it equal to 50, and variable B is equal to 30. Okay, so we've got these functions, and they've got an A and a B, but that's local to this function. These are more global. These are global variables. The A and B inside of here is referring to the A and B that are used in parameters here. We could simplify this a little bit and say number 1, just to clarify that those are different variables. So let's go to this, to echo, let's see. Okay, so we're going to echo the sum. Let's just say number 1 plus number 2 equals, and then we'll do the add number 1 and number 2. So we're calling the add function on number 1 and number 2. And then we'll do echo number 1 minus number 2 equals, and then we're going to subtract number 1 and number 2 as parameters. Now, if we save that, we'll get 50 plus 30 equals 80, and 50 minus 30 equals 20. So our two functions are being used there. So that's how functions work in their primitive sort of way. In the next video, we're going to cover form handling, and we're going to go into form creation, which is something we didn't really cover in the HTML tutorials. And it'll give us a chance to look at forms and how to post data and get data from our form requests. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe.